Ryan Elliott for Boxing News. It is a delight to be joined from across the pond by David Benavidez. David, thank you for your time. How are you?
I'm doing great, and I just want to tell you thank you so much for inviting me on the show, and I feel really good.
That's good to hear. Look, a week out now from your fight with Demetrius Andrade. He's called for a big fight such as yourself for a long time. I just wanted to start by asking you, do you think this is the best fighter you've faced?
Yeah, I definitely think he's one of the best fighters I've faced. Obviously, I have two other fighters that are world champions as well, Caleb Plant and Anthony Durrell. But I do think that Demetrius Andrade, he has more tricks up his sleeve than the other guys. But it's going to be a really good fight. I know he's coming really prepared. I prepare myself really well. I'm very excited, and I'm excited to show the people what I got to offer November 25th.
You mentioned the tricks up his sleeve. Obviously, a southpaw could be quite difficult. What does he do well as a fighter?
He uses the ring really well. He has good defense. He's very technical. He keeps his distance well. But I think what the difference maker is going to be in this fight is just that I'm just too big, too powerful, too strong, too young, and I want it. You know what I mean? I worked extremely hard for this training camp. I had some great, sparring partners, great lefties. So I think we emulated his style pretty good, and we're just going to be ready for whatever comes our way, November 25th.
That's one thing I was going to touch on, preparing for a lefty. How do you find facing southpaws? Do you find it comfortable?
I think it's very comfortable, to be honest with you. I don't have a problem with it at all. I've only fought two lefties in my career, but I've sparred a lot of lefties, a lot of good lefties too. So I really don't feel like it's a difference. And especially since we prepared for a lefty for 3 months, we've been doing stuff that punches that will land more on lefties than conventional fighters. So we studied them pretty good, and like I said, I'm confident that we're going to be ready for whatever he brings.
Aside from the different stance and a few other differences, do you think this will be a similar fight to the Caleb Plant in a way?
Yeah, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be very similar. He moves around a lot. He's probably going to be trying to clinch a lot too. So I feel like the experience that I had, from my last fight is really going to help me well in this fight as well.
Demetrius has cried out for a fight like this for a long time. He's had similar problems to yourself trying to get people in the ring with him. Do you sympathize with him in a way in that sense that you've both been waiting for this for a long time?
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like you said, he was in the same place that I was in. People didn't want to give him the fights. So with me, I'm not afraid of nobody, and I'm really comfortable. I mean, I'm really confident in my skills. So I think it was my obligation to make this big fight happen with him, because at the end of the day, you need a dancing partner too. You can't just do everything by yourself. And he's a really, really, really good champion. He's a champion in two different weight divisions. He has a lot of experience, but I just feel like I'm extremely confident in what I could do, and I'm very sure I'm gonna get him out of there. Probably late round stoppage, in my opinion.
It's interesting you say that you think you're going to get him out of there. Does that go back to the frustration? I know you really wanted the stoppage in the last fight. Is that a bit of frustration taking over?
Yeah, I think it's the only reason I didn't get the stoppage is because in the beginning of the fight I was just too stiff. I think it was just because all that stuff that's going on with me and Caleb Plant. I really wanted to hurt that guy with every shot. And now that I see that, obviously towards the end of the fight I was letting my hands go. So I feel like if I would have started like that, I would have stopped him earlier. Um, but Kenny Bayless also played a big role there too. He was hugging a lot. So hopefully the referee we have, really catches that and doesn't let him hug too much. But I know that if I start, fast, I start throwing combinations instead of just worrying about one big shot, that I'm definitely gonna get him out of there.
We've known you as a big 168 pounder. Demetrius has been at 154, 160, now 168. How significant do you think size will be in this fight?
It's gonna make a big difference in this fight. Obviously because I'm the bigger guy, and if you see Demetrius, he's really talented. He has a lot of skills, but if you see, he's been hurt quite a few times, and those by little guys at 154 and guys at 160, and he's never fought nobody with the type of power that I have, the type of speed or the type of combinations that I throw in. I really think that's gonna make a big difference, especially since he's barely coming up to 168, and I feel like these are probably my last fights at 168. My frame is bigger, so I'm just extremely ready for this.
Oh, David, you've been around at the top level for so long, but it's easy for people to forget that you're still so young as well. Do you feel we're close to a peak, David Benavidez, yet?
I definitely do feel like I'm gonna come into my prime this next year. I definitely do feel more focused. Not only just coming into my prime, but as a man, I feel like I've matured. I know exactly what I want in my career, and I know exactly what it takes to get there. So, you know, I feel like I'm on another level right now, focused, motivated, and extremely hungry to show the world what I got to offer.
I know it's never easy for a fighter to make weight, but for someone with your size, how are you still finding 168?
Well, it's like you said, it's not easy to make weight, but if everything is taken care of, like as diet, watering, the thing that people don't understand, that water intake is a big key to losing weight. You know, for us, been drinking 2 gallons of water for 3 months. You know what I mean? So, you know, the water's in the body. So when it's time to stop the water, the weight just comes off. But you have to do everything according to plan, you know, and follow the recipe. So I'm just it's not easy, but it's not hard. You know, if you understand what I mean, I could definitely make it for as long as I want to.
I just wanted to ask you about a couple of matters away from this fight, David. With the WBC convention, the last few days, Mauricio came out again, said, look, if David Benavidez wins this fight, he will be mandatory for Canelo. We will enforce that fight. Do you have confidence that that fight will happen?
You know, I'd believe it will happen only because this is probably the biggest fight at super middleweight you could probably make, and who else is there left for him to fight? You know, I mean, I think he'll face a lot of criticism, and not only from the people, but from the boxing legends. You know, you see like Juan Manuel Marquez, Barrera, so many other fighters, Oscar De La Hoya. They want to see this fight. You know, even Floyd Mayweather said that they would like to see this fight. So I think, in my opinion, it definitely is going to be made soon. Probably in the next year and a half. But to be honest with you, me fighting all these guys, clearing out the division, I have no problem with this. I gain more experience at the end of the day, and if the fight we get in next year, in 2 years, I'm gonna be extremely ready because I'm not going nowhere. You know, I have my plan, I have my vision, and I know I'm gonna accomplish it.
What did you make of his win over Jamel Charlo? What do you think of his performance?
It was a good performance. It wasn't a solid performance. Well, I mean, it was a solid performance. My bad. By Charlo's end, you know, I really expected a little bit more, but you can't really discredit him. Canelo for that performance or Charlo for that performance because Charlo's a really good fighter, and if he wasn't doing anything in that fight, it's because Canelo's probably just that good. But we want to see Canelo fight somebody at a true super middleweight, not somebody that's coming up for 154. And I think that's going to be the difference of this fight is just my weight, my size, and yeah, man, I just feel like I'm a completely different fighter from all these guys, and I feel like this fight's going to be really amazing when it happens.
You mentioned there he's kind of running out of dance partners and reasons for this fight not to happen. But if for some reason that isn't next, is David Morrell the natural fight?
Yeah, I think that fight is definitely going to be made soon. That's probably the only two fights I have in my vision. I want to get where after this win, I want Canelo and then David Morrell, and then maybe if we could get Munguia in there, I'd love to get Munguia in there, and then it's probably time to go up to 175.
Yeah, Munguia was the next guy I wanted to ask you about. There's rumors circulating that a fight with John Ryder will be confirmed in the next few days. What do you make of Munguia Ryder as a matchup?
I think it's a good fighter. I think Ryder is a fighter that a lot of people overlook, but he ends up getting people a lot of tough fights. So I have a lot of respect for that guy. I think this is probably going to be the same. I think it's going to be a tough fight for Munguia, especially like the way he looked with Derevyanchenko. And I feel like John Ryder's kind of the same fighter. So it's going to be a tough fight, but if you can get past him, then it'll be a good victory for him. But if you can't get past Ryder's toughness, then it's going to be a long night for him.
Now, David, Saudi Arabia are targeting a lot of big fights at the minute. I'm sure you've seen all the heavyweight stuff, but one fight they're interested in is Beterbiev Bivol. I know you sparred with Dimitri. I just wanted to get your thoughts. So we see that undisputed fight. Who do you think wins and why?
To be honest with you, I feel like Bivol. You're talking about Bivol and what's the
Beterbiev.
other guy? Oh yeah, Beterbiev. Okay, yeah. I think, to be honest with you, man, I think it's just Bivol's time right now. I think he's in a better position than Beterbiev is because Beterbiev, he's to be honest with you, he's pretty old. No, he's like 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I think it's gonna be a tough fight for Bivol, obviously, because Beterbiev is is an amazing fighter, a strong fighter. But I just feel like the athleticism and the ability of boxing and the power is honestly going to be it's going to be the key factor for Bivol, and I think that's what's going to make him win.
If we do get an undisputed champion at 175, we're hearing that fight could be next year. Is that something that could be of interest to you to be able to go up and challenge for those belts?
Oh, I definitely would love to go up there and challenge for the belts. I sparred Bivol. You know, I know him very, very well. I used to spar him a lot back then when I was like 21, 22. So I know that fight, we could definitely win that fight. It wouldn't be easy, but it's a fight that can be won. So I would definitely be more than willing to go up to 175 and fight for the belts if I've given the opportunity.
All right, David, I'm going to leave the final word to you. David Benavidez, Demetrius Andrade, for all the fans tuning in, both on your side of the pond and mine as well. What can they expect to see?
I just want to tell all the fans to tune in November 25th. It's going to be a great fight. Not only is mine and Andre's fight is going to be great, but my brother versus Charlo is going to be a great fight too. And I guarantee all you guys are going to get your money's worth. And this is going to be a great, great fight. It's going to be a great night for Team Benavidez. And thank you everybody for the support.
All right, David, thank you very much and good luck.
Great, thank you, brother.